Welcome to Talking Straight. I'm Suresh Kochattil. 12 years ago, a movie called People Live was released. It was a satirical black comedy film that explored the topic of farmer suicides and the subsequent media and political response. The movie, in fact, reflected the dog-eats-dog world of today's 24/7 TRP-driven news channels. In 2010, when People Live hit the screens, things were better. Now it's become worse, and no one knows when will news channel stop scraping the bottom of the barrel. Be it a kid falling into a borewell or a suicide by a celebrity, news vultures will descend to tear apart whatever is left of the tragedy. These news channels are least bothered about privacy and empathy. Their only aim is to make it sensational so that viewers are glued to the channel. In the process, if truth gets washed away, so be it. From the driver to the maid to the family members to just about anybody is forced to be answer the aggressive reporters and speak about what happened. Every editor sitting in his or her air-conditioned chambers pushed their rookie reporters to literally chase a non-existent story and make it sensational. This is what I observed after the collapse of the cable bridge at Morbi on Sunday evening. No sooner had the bridge collapsed, throwing hundreds of people into the water below, it let loose news vultures who descended to feast on a tragedy. Look at the huge difference between the media frenzy after the Seoul Halloween stampede and the Morbi bridge collapse. The Korean media kept their sanity, let the first responders do their job. There was no blaming of the government or those who organized the celebrations, which obviously had led to the tragedy. Families were allowed to grieve in private. And in India, it's been a media circus after the Morbi tragedy. Every news channel wants to milk a tragedy to score brownie points and get the highest TRPs. Interrupting rescuers to get a soundbite, thrusting the microphones in front of the families that are still trying to overcome the trauma. Every reporter is suddenly an expert on bridge collapses without even knowing how a cable-stayed bridge works. Without waiting for an official inquiry, TRP-hungry media has already decided who is guilty, forcing the government to take ad hoc decisions. Look at South Korea, for example, where the media is letting the government probe and investigate what went wrong. Every tragedy is an opportunity for our news channels. Earlier, even the army operations against terrorists, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, was telecast live, giving away vital information to these terrorists. Thankfully, the Army and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting have enforced curbs on this kind of live reporting. So now we have deferred live. Even during the Kargil war, we saw the likes of Barkha Dutt telecasting live from the bunker positions of our army, thereby giving Pakistanis the precise location of our men and machinery. The Mumbai terror attack was no better, with news reporters giving minute-to-minute coverage, which was being watched by handlers of terrorists in Pakistan. This gave the terrorists operating inside the Taj and the Chabad house updated information which they used to their advantage. In no other country is this kind of nonsense allowed. Even during mass shootings, which happens with regularity in the United States of America, the media there makes it a point not to telecast important part of the ongoing operation. When will our media enforce a sense of self-control on this breathless coverage that seeks to milk TRPs out of every tragedy? Should the government not enforce a strict rule that not to let reporters anywhere near places where a natural or a man-made disaster has happened? If coverage needs to be provided so that the citizens are aware of what happened, especially the next of the kith and kin, a single channel output from, say, Doordarshan can be provided, which can be picked up by other news channels. At the end of the day, it all boils down to the maturity of the news editor in determining where to draw that Lakshman Rekha. No doubt, news channels need advertising revenues to survive, and that is dependent on viewership. Many people love to watch WWF wrestling, but that does not mean that everyone wants to. The editorial policy of a news channel is all about restraint and evaluating whether a news story needs to be carried or not. The decision to stop this breaking news culture must be taken by news broadcasters in unison. The day that happens, Indian news channels can hold their head high. And I repeat that with a big if that happens. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.
Please subscribe to Nationalist Hub English channel for more interesting videos, and don't forget to like and share this video. Nationalist Hub, it's a news revolution.